Okay, so starting off in the 2024 Honda Passport TrailSport. It's been a really awesome week in this TrailSport Passport. I've really gotten to know this vehicle pretty well. I've I've put about 700 miles on this thing, almost 800 miles. So I've had a lot of seat time to get familiar with this Passport, with this new, slightly revised, better looking Passport TrailSport. And I gotta say, I've really honestly enjoyed this car. As anybody who's watched our videos know, and if you don't know, our family car is a Kia Telluride. And I know this Passport's not a 3-row SUV, and we've driven the Pilot TrailSport. But I gotta say, if you don't need a third row, I'd really would be tempted at getting this. Maybe even instead of the Telluride. It just depends. The Telluride's so good. But let me tell you why. This thing is super nice to drive. This 280 horsepower naturally aspirated V6 is silky smooth, and it's honestly, it's wonderful. It's kind of refreshing not to have turbochargers or a hybrid system here. Although I do wonder what a hybrid system would be like in this, especially since the hybrid in the CR-V and the Accord is so good. If they put maybe even a slightly larger system here, I can imagine it'd be even better. But as it is, this naturally aspirated V6 is really enjoyable. It makes power very smoothly. It's easy to accelerate. It doesn't feel like there's any like dips in the torque like there kind of is in the Telluride. It's just all very progressive. And what's cool too is once you get up into the higher RPMs, it reminds me a lot of, well, kind of how Honda engines have always been. You're going to kind of get that more of that, just that high-pitched, nice sound that comes out of the V6 here. And it's great. And the 9-speed automatic transmission, you know, nothing crazy here, no CVT. The 9-speed really is super smooth. You can almost not even tell when it's shifting. And just overall, I think Honda's done a super great job at the powertrain, including the all-wheel drive. I took it a little bit off some just like, you know, unpaved roads, but also I drove it in, we've had some crazy weather here in Salt Lake with like tons of sleet and just hail and snow and rain. And I was driving back from Moab just yesterday, and we had rain, we had hail, we had snow. And coupled with these all-terrain tires that are on these 18-inch wheels, I didn't lose traction once. It was actually really reassuring to be in that inclement weather. And I was really impressed. I think these are just general grabber all-terrains, and they did a fantastic job, as the all-wheel drive system did. So yeah, over the road trip that I took, which was about 500 miles, excuse me, I averaged 25.3 miles per gallon, which is pretty good. I mean, this is a fairly heavy, big, you know, mid-size SUV with a naturally aspirated V6, all-wheel drive with slightly chunky tires. And so 25, you know, I'm pretty happy about that. I think that's slightly better than the EPA estimates. And so no complaints there. I think on our longer road trips that we've had in our Telluride, you know, we've gotten about 27, so maybe slightly better there. Over the entire time I've had this, which has been 761 miles, which again, 500 of those 761 were highway miles, I've averaged 23.2. So combined, I'd bet you're going to be closer to like 19 or 20. If you're driving this mostly in the city, probably closer to like 19, maybe even 18, which isn't that far off from where our Telluride is either. So fuel economy, you know, it's not like amazing, but it's also not terrible either, especially, you know, for what you're driving. So some other things that I really loved about the Passport TrailSport, I really actually do. I thought the TrailSport was going to be a little like, it's like slightly off. And yeah, you're not going to be like going to Moab in this thing. But, you know, off some slightly rough trails, you know, unpaved, I think this is a great option. And I actually, even aside from that, really enjoyed the slightly higher ground clearance and thicker sidewall tires. It just kind of gives you a little more confidence going off over some rougher road, potholes and such. You're not going to be bending a rim. And I think it also kind of softens the ride a little bit. The ride quality is excellent. I've really enjoyed it. It's very soft. It doesn't feel firm like at all. It was a wonderful place to road trip, especially with these seats. These seats are genuinely nice and plush. And which was, I don't know, I was kind of surprised because I really like the seats in the Civic and in the Accord and the CRV, but they're all definitely more, and the HRV, but they're all definitely more firm than what's in this. And these are plush, these are wide and accommodating, and I mean, I drove, 4 or 5 hours non-stop. Well, with one stop, but still 4 or 5 hours in these seats, and I didn't feel fatigued at all. I could have kept going. My back wasn't sore at all. My legs weren't sore. It was all great. A couple things that are missing here. So the price tag on this TrailSport Passport is like just over 46,000, and which I think is pretty fair for what it is. There is a few things that you need to know that you're not getting with it. You're not getting ventilated seats. You're not getting wireless Apple CarPlay. You're not getting heads-up display. You're not even getting rear. I don't think you're getting rear heated seats. So, there's a few things. You do get rear sunshades, but you're not getting like a panoramic moonroof or anything. So you definitely have enough. Like the heated seats work really well. The heated steering wheel is great. I used them a lot because the weather again has been so crazy here in Utah. We're like running 10 to 15 degrees colder than usual for this time of year. For 46 grand, yeah, I think that's like pretty fair, and you're getting something super solid. There's a ton of room in the second row. Kids have plenty of room. They're very comfortable. There's a lot of cargo space. This feels easier and more enjoyable and lively to drive versus the Pilot. The Pilot definitely feels a lot bigger, and this just drives, I think, smaller than it is. I think it's a good size. I think it actually looks pretty good. I love this color. I just think this is a super solid entry, and I don't know that many people are looking at the Passport because everybody buys the Pilot, but this definitely feels more like agile and easier, and just, yeah, like I said, just more enjoyable. I definitely prefer this over the Pilot. The Pilot just felt huge and kind of clunky, and I'm a huge fan of what I've experienced here in the Passport TrailSport. And like I said, if we didn't need or want a third row, I think this would be up there. I do wish it had, the stuff that we talked about, ventilated seats, wireless Apple CarPlay, those sorts of things. But as it is, I think it's pretty good value. And again, you don't have to worry about going over potholes or like big dips and stuff, because I haven't scraped it all, and it absorbs it pretty well. So anyway, guys, there's my thoughts on the Passport TrailSport 2024. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and go check it out. You maybe not have considered the Passport before, but I really think you should. And if you just want a little more space, like what's in the CRV, a little more comfort, and versatility, I think this is a great option. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you later. We'll see you.